Yeah, I see the cars. By that meeting point.
And it looks like we have our first M8 out as well. By Seb.
Up gunning.
And the Storm's in a lot of danger right now.
Oh. I'm surprised that Shrek didn't kill that Jeep outright.
It's quite surprising. Usually they do, one shot or very, very badly damaged in that case. But quite a
yeah, and there really isn't much that you can do. Like, for example, that Jeep that just went down while it was capping that VP to the Shrek. Once you get Storms on the field, it's very hard to keep a Jeep alive.
That's right, and that's the unfortunate thing about the Jeeps. They're quite limited in the mid to late games. As soon as you got anti-tank coming out, they die very easily, especially against Panzerschrecks, the tanks, and such. So usually, if I was recommending a build to new players, I would definitely go for Riflemen because they're easier to keep alive a lot longer than a Jeep, for example.
Well, he is building rifles now and a second M8.
But whatever. I mean, Seb is doing pretty damn good for a 3 Jeep start.
No, and he didn't get the counter snipe off.
Oh!
And the mortar gets it.
Oh my god.
The mortar. Very lucky shot. Taking out the MG and the sniper together. That is quite unfortunate. Very big mixture of units right now. And yes, we have those assault grenades coming out from the Volksgrenadiers. That is one of the good perks about the Blitzkrieg Doctrine. You get these assault grenades and they do a lot of damage. They also stun your enemy. So very good use of those. But Seb really has a lot of a mixture of units right now. So he's got that MG, that sniper. They're doing a lot of damage.
That's one thing I love to see in games is use of combined arms because, rifle spam, though effective, is just kind of boring to watch,
It definitely is, and that's one of the things that I want to criticize about the last game, the third place game, is that in the late game they really started to heavily focus on Panzers, for example. And me and Ryan were heavily stressing that you need to have a diversity of units, you need to specialize on certain things because that will do much better. And now we have even more different units out in the field. We have our first Rifleman squad from Seb and 2 M8s.
Yeah, and one of those storm squads actually has 2 Shreks, and I don't know how you guys feel about that, but commonly speaking, it's a 1 Shrek deal for storm squads.
It definitely
is.
For me.
I was gonna say they drop them those Shreks real easily. So
CrazyTiger actually lost a stormtrooper squad there. I think he was trying to keep it there. Just to try and take out the M8, but unfortunately it didn't have enough damage, enough power to blow that M8 apart, and this little squad of riflemen just landing on this mine, taking heavy damage, but they picked up that Panzerschreck, so obviously just denying it from their opponent, and as we guys know, that riflemen, when they get veterancy 2 and 3, they become extremely dangerous, especially with a Panzerschreck.
Yeah, and I think our last game also showcased, not only a need for diversity, but also, rifles plus Panzerschreck equals win. This game's kind of the antithesis to that. We see a ton of diversity in the units. You got 3 Jeeps, and then it went MG, mortar, sniper, and then he brought out a rifle, and then went to an M8. Just a lot of bouncing back and forth with the unit selection, and it actually seems to work fairly well for him.
And this is the funny thing, I mean, there's constant action, so if we were ever talking about pro games, this is what you guys really should be looking forward to, this constant sort of battling, the cycle between bringing guys on the field, retreating, reinforcing, and this is what is constantly going on. There's capping going on along the side, and this is what you should really be aiming for in professional games. There's obviously a high standard of skill right now, and big diversity of units. So the Wehrmacht, Stormtroopers, they've got Volksgrenadiers and MG, some Pioneers capping away, and obviously going to probably bring out more stuff because they've got 3 CP right now, so that could be saving for something bigger. possibly, the Stars, maybe the Tiger in the long run.
Yeah, and we actually have enough CP on the American side to enable a Calliope call in, but he doesn't seem to be focused too much on bringing the Calliope out. He's got a rifleman building instead of saving the manpower up.
Now we have some sneaky little stormtrooper squads just ready for the attack, ready to pounce on this M8, and there we go. 2 shots badly damaging it. 1 more shot should do the trick, but this M8 obviously trying to get the heck out of there. There we go.
Ooh.
Good job, stormtroopers. And here we go, guys.
There's his stuff.
There's their stuff from the urban assault support. So your 600 manpower
Jasper
for
called
great
him
stickies.
Stew.
or stew.
Yeah.
Is that the correct pronunciation?
I don't know. I don't speak German.
And so right now, this stew, whatever you want to call it, it's gonna. They're definitely specialized at anti-infantry. I mean, if you guys look at its turret, it's obviously sort of like an artillery cannon. Whenever it shoots, it has this big blast that you would usually see from, say, a howitzer, for example. So definitely infantry beware.
Yeah, and the other interesting thing to note, I don't know if you happen to have your screen on it, Krebs, the MG squad that's right outside of the strategic point behind the stew, it actually was recruited by Volks, and the 2 kills that it has were not done with the MG. It was actually with a Volks rifle with the Kar 98, and it does a pretty decent job. And it's something to remember that when you recrew weapons, they take on the stats of the units that you recruit them with. So, for example, if you were willing to lose a Knights Crossholder squad, you can make an MG squad that pretty much is invincible like that.
Exchanging veterancy, I guess you would say.
In a way, yeah.
Yes, you do a.
So it's always something
Oh,
like interesting to note.
That mortar got one-shotted.
That's very unfortunate. That mortar taking 1 shot, killing it off entirely. The stew is being a very big bully right now. I mean, it's pretty much just parked itself in the middle of Sturzdorf, just totally taking shots around itself, just tossing these guys about like if they were ragdolls, basically.
Yeah, and you also see the damage it's done to that house there, and that's one of the things that the stews are very good at, is wiping those out.
There you go, the house is down, it's gone. So we don't really see much in terms of teching right now from CrazyTiger. He has got a bit of veterancy out for his infantry, but apart from that, he's quite content with his stew. Obviously not very countered right now. I mean, there's no anti-tank on the field, apart from possibly stickies. Not exactly sure if those are out yet. But there's an M8, some anti-armor piercing rounds on the MG, but really nothing much to counter the stew at the moment.
No, you've got some mines coming up from the American player with this Minesweeper squad. Seb kind of forgetting a little bit to shift click after planting mines, but with the level of micro going on here, you can't blame him. And so that's at least going to keep the stew from really encroaching on the American player's territory and moving over to that east side.
So I'm actually going to praise these players for doing some very risky stuff. I mean, they've got half health squads on the field. Seb has a very badly damaged sniper. Just a few more bullets would easily take it down. The stew is definitely badly damaged. The M8, surprisingly, is doing a lot of piercing or penetration against the stew. It's doing quite a decent job.
Did you notice what he did with the M8, though? He actually used the M8 to turn the stew around so that the anti-tank gun that was parked up there was shooting at the stew's rear. By running the M8 in and getting the stew to kind of target it just kind of automatically, it spun around the whole way and let the AT gun just sit there and plink away at it.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So when we were talking about anti-tank there wasn't any proper anti-tank on the field, but surprisingly enough, the Seb actually got an anti-tank gun out, and if you guys if you guys saw that, the M8 was actually luring the Stu around just to turn around its armor. So very good use of tactics right there. I like that. And CrazyTiger just about to throw a assault barrage of grenades. Here we go. Here comes down the grenades, stunning everybody in sight. Taking a lot of damage at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's something to kind of note is that in 2.601, when you throw assault nades, they don't actually kill anyone when they're hit. They can't critically kill the infantry as they go with it. The deaths that you see in assault nades are typically from associated rifle fire in in the area. In the beta, however, something to watch for is assault nades will have the ability to kill units, so it's something to be careful of.
Oh, definitely will be.
And what do you
I
feel
didn't
about a
see-
triage center at this point? Greatness.
Oh yeah, definitely needed for that sniper. I was just gonna ask if what happened to the Wehrmacht sniper? He died.
It died to the mortar.
There's
Oh, that's
actually,
right. That's right.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that one died from mortar. I was thinking that might be a second one, but I don't actually think there was.
We have an OP coming up on the munitions on the Wehrmacht side of the map.
No, I actually like the little. There's actually like a little sort of battle going on the right-hand side. Not much of a battle anymore since the stormtroopers are retreating. But there's a few mines down from Seb just on this little ramp, and that usually sees a lot of attention. He's also got an MG there. The M8 just using the advantage of raid and just capping away. So I like that, just totally encompassing CrazyTiger right now. But here we go, Mr. Bully is rolling back onto the field. The Stu really does not have much to fear right now.
No, and with the Vet 2 upgrade, it gets the MG gunner on the top of it, which further increases its ability to do damage to infantry.
Now, Ryan, I believe when we were talking about the Stu quite a while ago now, or maybe just like a few days ago, I can't really remember, but I think you were actually saying that the Stu is more accurate when you're using attack ground.
And that's what I've seen in the past, and other players have commented on the fact that it definitely seems to be a little more accurate when it's attacking ground because it doesn't scatter as far when it's doing so.
And that's actually a funny thing.
Or would you say it does heavier damage? I would think.
It may just be more
Splash
accurate.
damage.
Yeah, it may just actually the splash actually kick in the right way.
Maybe it just actually lands where you want it to.
Yeah.
I think that might be a thing, because if you guys look at sometimes when your Stu is taking shots, I'm guessing he must have clicked on the squads, because sometimes the shots are quite off. And the one anti-tank gun going down. And not much opposing the Stu right now, except the one Panzer Shrek that was stolen.
Nope, gonna lose a flamer, and does.
Oh, the absolute murder. Now, surprisingly, the Stu doesn't do as much damage as you would think it would. Like, some of these shots, surprisingly, they're landing right in the middle of squads and only taking out, say, one guy, for example. Maybe they're just badly damaging the squads. I'm not exactly sure what's up with that. But we have our third veterancy down for the Stu. So obviously investing a lot in his tanks. So that is probably a sure sign that there will be more tanks to come.
Well, and that's definitely something to be careful with the Blitz Doctrine as well. Once you've got Vet 3 down for tanks, you can almost guarantee that you're going to see Vet 3 Tiger rolling out on the field.
And that is definitely when things become a bit worrisome. And we have our